Cuba, yeah.
Yeah, I went to Cuba.
Yeah. And like people are like, oh, you went to Cuba, but like don't think a lot of people understand
that it's communist society.
Yeah, I don't think
do they know this?
A proper communist society.
Well, when I went there, I realised I didn't know hardly anything about the place. I really wish that I had have looked up a lot of stuff before I went, because I had a shitload of questions when I was there, and there was no internet, so you can't answer any questions. You can't Google anything because there's no internet in Cuba.
There's no internet.
Okay.
No.
There's no GPS either.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's nothing normal there. Things don't work the way that they do in other places.
Yeah, it's like the 1950s. It's like basically like the 1950s.
It's not like just going to Asia where you're like, oh shit, things are a little bit inefficient, a little bit untidy. But you're still living in Western culture in a way.
You still got Wi-Fi in every restaurant.
You can still have help. You can phone a friend. You can do that.
You can't even get free Wi-Fi in Australia in a restaurant.
You can't phone a friend in Cuba. I can guarantee you, no one knows what you're doing where you are. There's nothing there. It's really quite difficult. Like if you want to go to the bank, you have to bring your own. You really need to bring your own cash. Don't bring American money because it's not accepted there. You have to get cash out before you get to the country because it's so difficult to get cash out in Cuba. You have to go to the bank, line up for about an hour in one of the few banks that they have, and then you finally get to the teller and you have to provide all your little evidence of everything, and then they take money out for you behind. It's just really, really weird.
Yeah.
Even you can't use any American credit cards in Cuba, and you can't use them online either. So I tried to buy my Cuban flights online on the Cuban aviation website with my GE Money credit card, which is American, even though it was issued to me in Australia, and it wouldn't work because it's an American company.
Yeah. Well, because of the Cuban Missile Crisis.
It was the biggest
Cuban Missile Crisis was that time in the Cold War when the Soviet Union was going over to Cuba, and because they're both communists, so both communists at the time, they were about to launch nuclear weapons because Americans said, if you go over this line and try to get to Cuba, because that's our water, then we will launch a nuclear attack on you. And then the Russians were saying the same thing, and that was the Cuban Missile Crisis, because Cuba is... And Cuba actually is another interesting story because they defied... Oh, no, I'm going to get off the topic here, but they defined what happens once a country goes into peak oil. So during
They are an amazing case study. Yeah,
during the Cold War... they were getting all their oil from Russia, and when America cut off that supply line, they couldn't get any oil because they didn't have any allies in that side. Like, I don't think they were getting enough through South America, and it was all just taboo. Like, they were just segregated. So when that means no oil, like we keep saying, no oil means no food production. It means you can't. It means no water, no this or that. So what the president said, he had some foresight and told his population. He said, guys, you need to look after yourself.
You're going to have to figure something out here.
You need to figure out this yourself. You need to turn every rooftop, every garden bed, every bit of land you can find in and out of the city into food production, and you need to be able to go and get your own water.
And they did it. It's amazing. It is like a case of what would happen to the world if we ran out of oil, and everyone had to realise that you have to work together as a community to actually get the basic life essentials, which is just... farming. We just need food to be grown, and now Cuba is now completely organic food. Everything that's grown there is chemical free, and I'll tell you now, the mangoes and avocados there are so amazing.
Yeah, do you know funny word that what you call it? You could call it communism, but it wasn't communism because the people have to looking after themselves. That was anarchism. Okay, and that's what anarchism does. A lot of people think, and especially, it's had such bad PR, anarchism is people running around with clubs bashing each other for their fucking TVs and that's anarchy, this fucking place anarchy. No, anarchism is when the government says, or the government doesn't declare, that they can't look after you anymore.
Yeah.
So then, now the community has to work together and cooperate to survive rather than one big big man in a building going, you do this and you do that. So anarchism, that's what happened. They work together as a community.
The only thing about people that, maybe there'll be a little honeymoon period where people go spastic for a while because there's no rules.
Maybe there'll be a little period.
But then eventually they'll realise that that's dumb.
We need
and
other
you actually
people.
Need to work together to live.
I need other people to help me so I can survive rather than beating them over the head is not going to get me anywhere.
It's not rocket science. Anyway, so that was... Cuba was great.
So that's really interesting because I challenge everyone, please can everyone look up Cuba and look up pictures of Cuba. If you got
watch that documentary.
If you got
it's really interesting.
Watch Cuba Peak Oil or read up on it, do whatever. There's articles, it's blasted all over the net. But also, look up pictures of Cuba. If you got Tess's friend on Facebook, go into Facebook and look at the pictures of...
My Cuba album is really good.
Yeah, Cuba album. And look at the cars. They're using has anyone seen Gangster Squad? If anyone saw Gangster Squad, which is a 50 gangster movie that was Hollywood just made, that's exactly what Cuba looks like.
It's
now,
actually...
today.
It's, like, when you get there, you think, this has got to be a joke. Like
all the cars
it's unbelievable.
It's like the mask.
It's
like the mask.
Every single car is old and like ancient and I'm not into cars and especially not old ones. So I can't really. But Zach he was really amazing.
It's beautiful.
But taxis, taxis are all just crazy old cars and. But if you are into beaches and you want to find you're on a hunt just like I was for the best beach in the world. I've pretty much decided that I've reached my conclusion, and it is in Cuba. Yeah. That beach, Varadero, I think it's called, is amazing.
And it's not dangerous at all, is it?
No. It is one of the safest places I've been because of the fact that everybody's taken care of. There are no poor people. There's barely anyone.
Beg off you a bit.
No, they don't beg. They just. I think it's more of they're being rude to us because we have this whole money thing going on and they're just kind of, I think they're a bit bitter about the whole situation because they're actually really fucking rude in Cuba, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there wasn't that many friendly people. They were, you will get, just random little boy, not a little boy that has an, excuse to do it, just a shitty teenager. Can I have $1? No, fuck off, you can't have a fucking dollar. Just, you get provided for here. I understand that, but I worked my ass off for that dollar, and just because I'm here in your country doesn't mean I've got lots of money. Yeah. I understand what you think, but I don't have much money, and I've seriously, every little cent I've earned in the past 2 years is the reason I'm here. Yeah. Don't be rude. That's just plain rude. Why would I give you $1?
Yeah, sure.
And trying to say that in Spanish is... It's interesting. Trying to stand up for yourself in Spanish like that, but it's fine.
Tess does speak Spanish. So.
I speak a little bit of Spanish.
That's good. So, what in relation to that, I'm just trying to keep in the South America ballpark at the moment.
Okay. Well, other countries in South America.
Yeah, certainly. Where did you spend the most time?
Well, we spent 3 weeks in Colombia, which was incredibly pleasurable. That was awesome. Bogota is the capital of Colombia, and that is an incredible, cool place. Just funky and young, and there's graffiti, really amazing graffiti everywhere. And I think it's a real sort of protest movement, young, fresh ideas, type environment, and so you've got all this youth just expressing themselves, and a lot of the graffiti is just really, really inspirational stuff, real meaning to it and stuff. I've got lots of photos of it on my Facebook if you want to see them. And that was a really cool place. Got a tattoo there, and then where else? Spent some time in Peru, which is a country which you would just... I don't know how many people know about Peru. Not the fact that it exists, but surely it exists. But the fact of how much it can offer, I didn't realise that it has such a diverse array of types of landscapes. You've got... It's just amazing. It's got, the jungle, the full-on jungle, Amazon style. Iquitos, my favourite location I've ever been to, ever. Iquitos is the largest city inaccessible by road. So you have to get there by plane or by boat. And it's just this, crazy, bustling, hot, witchcraft type place with just jungle shit everywhere. Just the market is the most amazing market, and I love markets. I'll go straight to the market in any place I'm at, straight to the market, because that's like, I feel like a market it represents what is going on in this place.
Yeah.
Everyone brings the things that they create or what they're interested in.
All local.
All in one spot, all local, and they, present it to you, and you get to consume the location,
All local, usually organic. That's a really good way to put it, because, unfortunately today in the Western world, a marketplace is more of a stock market.
Well, no, you just got a shopping centre with, like, Spray and shit, which you get, you'll get chain stores.
Which is fucked.
But, so that's the best thing about, when you go to places like little towns, you just get these crazy things. And when you go there, like, especially places like, say, Cusco, which is in Peru, which is the town nearest to Machu Picchu, so it's a very tourist area, it's just, like, everywhere is alpaca goods, and it's all the same touristy items. You start to think, well, it's everywhere, I'm not going to buy it because everyone's got it, but you can only get it in Cusco, and as soon as you leave Cusco, you'll never see that product again, and you'll regret not buying it, even though at the time you think, I'm not going to follow everyone else and just buy it because I'm here. But no, you should fucking buy it, especially in Cusco. Anyone, if you're there, buy alpaca stuff. It's a really good quality and cheap and amazing.
So, I suppose, so
there's Iquitos. It's the jungle, just filled with jungle, amazing things, and it's just like about jungle experiences. You can go and you can try ayahuasca with a shaman, and I highly recommend you do this. This is where we did that. Actually, we've probably spoken about Iquitos before.
We've done a whole podcast.
So Iquitos was amazing. And then that's jungle stuff, and then you've got like Lima, the capital city, which is a shitty, dirty, concrete place, pretty gross. Whatever, it's a normal city. Don't hit the cat, Sean.
I didn't hit the cat.
You did, I saw you. Don't. Continue. And then you've got, just south of Lima, you've got like all these huge sand dunes right on the coast, so it looks really weird when you're driving through. It's like all desert, like dry and disgusting desert, like, really gross, and then all of a sudden it's the ocean. You're like, what the fuck? And then, so in this place you've got sand dunes, and they have like the sandboarding championships there, like the
really?
and we went dune bugging and stuff, and then you've got the Machu Picchu mountains, like Cusco and around there. And that is some of the most beautiful landscape I've ever seen. Like green, like jagged, like rocky mountain type things, and in the Andes, and it's 4,000 meters above sea level, and it's just like a country full of stuff to see and do. Like Peru is quite amazing place.
Well, maybe we could just continue on with that, and then after that, after your trip, then you went to North America.
I'm not really going on.
No, I know, but talk about it.
I can talk about other things.
No, I was going to go on to North America.
Okay, well, North America.
That was the next point of the call of that.
Bolivia is cool though.
Yeah, Bolivia.
You've got to go to La Paz. La Paz is the capital of Bolivia, and it's just like pretty crazy place. Like, just really, it's quite hilly, and there's little shacks everywhere, and like it's Bolivians are really different. Like, when I first got to Bolivia, I thought they must be wearing this for the sake of the tourist entertainment, because they seriously don't normally wear this. They do. Big, old ladies, they wear these huge fluffy skirts, and then they use like knitted jumpers, and they have these really long braided black plaits, and it's just, everyone wears the same shit, and then there's little bowler hats. It's bizarre, but it's really cool. So that's quite a mind-blowing place in terms of what you're used to. Like when you live here and you're like over there, it's, whoa, it's different. So that was good. So North America. So Mexico, like we went to Cancun. Jess and I went to Cancun. Cancun, when I'd seen Cuban beaches, Cancun was nothing. So I'm sure it would have been great, but unfortunately my standards were pretty high by then. But Cancun was just basically a beachside Vegas. So if you're into, Americans getting smashed and drunk and acting like retards, and there being huge, Hooters, like massive Hooters restaurants.
Really?
Just everything's oversized in Cancun. Like,
really?
Just this whole strip of just humongous restaurants, and it's all just American.
It is. Well, that's where they have their schoolies,
spring break and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. If you want like that sort of
go there.
But otherwise, you can go a little bit south to that, and you might get a little bit of away from the hoo-ha, and you've got like Plough.com.
Well, that's a perfect place,
which is nice, but still, it doesn't provide people like me with enough of a culture shock. Yeah. I like to go places I haven't been to. These places are just normal.
I think you got to understand. I mean, that's what I think. You suppose I was hoping for more when I went to North America. That is the culture.
No, yeah, I know.
That's their culture.
It's so similar to what we do here, but it's not that different.
The generic sort of fucking bright lights,